here's Brody Brazil.
You know, for the longest time, there was this plot of land on the south side of the Strip in Las Vegas where it seemed like the Oakview Group wanted to do their development and build an NBA arena and eventually lure a team. Well, from reports, especially those by Vital Vegas and Casino.org, Scott, by the way, does a great job over there, it seems like this NBA project has now pivoted to a plot of land, well, actually the parking lot of the Rio Hotel. This is a property that a lot of different sports entities have come in and shopped it a little bit and talked about it, but it seems like right now they're moving forward. The basketball project is to put an NBA arena in the parking lot of the Rio Hotel. And going back to the NBA and will they or won't they expand, it really is just a matter of time. That's been the understanding now for quite some time. This was from the summer of 2023. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver addressed reporters on Monday at the Summer League in Las Vegas and touched on a number of different topics, most notably expansion. He confirmed that the league will begin exploring the idea once the current media rights deal is up in 2025. Guess what? All of the new media rights deals for the NBA moving forward, they were done this past summer, July of 2024. Quote, "We will turn to expansion once those new media deals are done," Silver said. "It's not a sure thing, but as I've said before, I think it's natural that organizations grow over time," end quote. So that's the commissioner. And how about LeBron James? Like, he actually wants a piece of whatever a Las Vegas NBA franchise might look like. He said this a while back, quote, "You have the NFL's Raiders here, you have the NHL's Golden Knights here, you have the WNBA's Aces here, you've got F1 coming very soon." That was before the first F1 race. All-Star Weekend has been here a few times. You've got the NBA Summer League that's very popular. I think adding an NBA franchise here would just add to the momentum that's going on in this town. I think it's only a matter of time, and I hope I'm part of that time. I also always found it interesting that, all this was going on while the Oakland A's were getting their approval done to move to Las Vegas, and LeBron didn't mention that. I'll put that aside, but I always thought that was interesting that he omitted baseball planning to come down there. Tim Leiweke is in charge of the Oakview Group. Again, they're behind this project of doing a development, building an arena, getting that all going so that then they can lure the NBA into giving them an expansion team. Here's what Leiweke said a while back, quote, "On this arena, I'm not asking anybody for any money," he said as the crowd cheered. This was at an event where all of the different sports entities from Las Vegas were getting together for like a very high-level forum and roundtable. He said, quote, "We're not going before the state, we're not going before the county." So they're not asking for public money in any of this, and that's why an NBA arena and project, it could get started like almost immediately. So long as the agreements are in place for the Oakview Group and wherever they're going to build, they don't need the legislative session to get that public money. If it's all private, there's not much more to discuss. The old site that they were looking at, again, on the south side of the Strip, 66 acres. They wanted to do a $10 billion arena district. They wanted to build a 20,000-seat arena, and this was all well south of the Strip. I think it was the I-15 and I-215 intersection is where they were going to put this. So let me give you kind of the overall lay of the land here and get a good idea of what's going on. So this property is the Rio Hotel, and actually, if you really want to be specific, the parking lot they're talking about is kind of like this shape right here. So you know what I'll do is I'll give you the rest of the property kind of like that. I think that's it. Maybe, or actually, you know what? Maybe there's even this bit of it too. Maybe that bit should go in red. So this is the 20-something acres. This is I-15, and this right here is the Strip, which kind of curves. You'll notice some obvious landmarks here, like the Mirage, which is getting redone right now into a Hard Rock. It's crazy how I know all of this. There's Caesars, there's the Bellagio, the Aria's down here. So let me take those off real quick. But you can see that with the Strip being over here and a major interstate right there, and this arena would be over here, how exactly do you get people from the Strip, if they want, over to the NBA arena and its district? Because at least with, and you can see T-Mobile Arena's right there, and then Allegiant Stadium is on the other side of I-15. But you would think for more events here with this indoor, like basketball-sized arena, you'd want a way, and maybe the way is through these Caesars shops right here. Maybe they do, I'll tell you what, let me undo that. Let me do it in purple. Maybe you do some type of aerial walkway over the 15, or maybe you do, underground. Could you do that? I don't know how you get people from the Strip, like this distance right here. However far that distance is, boy, that's very messy. That's a very important walk, and I think that's a very important thing to get from the Strip over here to that site. Now, I also think this site is great and super important because it's off the Strip. It's accessible to the Strip, but it's not on the Strip like what the A's are trying to do at the Tropicana Hotel site. I mean, that intersection of Las Vegas Boulevard and Tropicana Avenue, that is so busy already with airport traffic, and everybody comes through there to make that right turn and go up the Strip to their hotel. My point is here is this is a great location because you're off the Strip. Try that again. Because you're off the Strip over here, but maybe there's a way to get to the Strip. So if they can literally bridge that gap right there, looks like train tracks, I think they've got a great site and plot of land here to do this. More information coming to us from Vital Vegas, and again, they've been all over this. Scott is tremendous. Scott has multiple sources saying that the Oakview Group is, quote, moving forward on these 22 acres at Rio, which would end the other site. Well, it's 25 acres. We saw 60, but that other plot of land at the I-15 and I-215. So the Oakview Group is basically moving on from that. They're pivoting away from that would be to this. Another report here from Vital Vegas is that soil samples are being collected on that Rio site right now so that they can move forward with construction and getting that process underway. And as Scott points out at casino.org, Oakview has a proven track record of making things happen. Like they are going to go right at this and try and get it done. There's also this, if you were wondering, hey, 20 plus acres, is that enough for an NBA arena? Well, not only is it enough for an NBA arena, let's do the whole outline here of the property overhead here. That's enough for Allegiant Stadium, T-Mobile Arena, 6 Stratosphere Towers, and 2 In-N-Out Burgers. So yeah, I think they've got room on those 20 plus acres for an NBA arena and a bunch of other stuff to go around it. Here are my takeaways. Number one, I think the NBA to Las Vegas announcement, I think that is very likely to happen at some point this season, probably in the 2025 calendar year. And if I'm guessing, like is the All-Star game in February, probably at the All-Star game or shortly after that. They've got their media rights deals. They are secure for the long term. They've got Amazon. They've got some streaming now. They've got Peacock and NBC. So I think the NBA is going to do this. And I also think they're going to throw in Seattle as a huge part of this too. Las Vegas and Seattle, to me, are the two shoo-ins for this announcement. I also want to go back to this. Another takeaway is that the Rio, you might recall, and this is about the NBA, but the Rio was a $1 option for the Oakland A's. It was a site that owners of the Rio, Dreamscape, that they wanted to offer up, but the A's actually turned down. Now, in retrospect, I think there were some other things attached to that $1 deal, like maybe all the concessions or other things that come along with the site would go back to owners of the Rio. So it wasn't just, hey, here's this for $1. I don't think it was that simple. Who knows the exact negotiations? But let's just say that it was something the A's looked at and something the A's turned down. And now this very aggressive Oakview Group with a great track record, they are taking this up. They've pivoted from their old site to this site. It would seem, though, that if Oakview Group is really moving forward on this Rio site, that it's not an option anymore for the A's, if it ever was. I understand. They've got those 9 acres earmarked on the site of the Tropicana, and that $380 million from the state of Nevada and Clark County and those bonds and that money, that's tied directly to the Tropicana site. Essentially, if the A's really did pivot off Tropicana and go to what would be their third site at the Rio, they would have to go through the whole legislative approval process. I don't want to say all over again, but they'd have to go back to the Nevada State Legislature in Carson City to get that reapproved. But it would seem that if the NBA is going to this site at the Rio, that would severely restrict, if not cut off, any A's chances to pivot away from that Tropicana site, which a lot of people had been saying recently, maybe that would still be an option. And also this, I think the last point is the most important. If we are talking about which gets to Las Vegas first, the NBA or Major League Baseball. Like, because the NBA, it doesn't sound like they would need private money, public money at all. It would be all private. You don't have to jump hoops and go through that process. It could happen instantly. The construction could begin instantly on this. And so in that race of baseball versus basketball, it seems like because baseball wanted and needed public money, and there's some other issues going on, and if basketball doesn't need any of that, that basketball is most likely to land in Las Vegas first. So there you go. It's a brand new site for the NBA in Vegas. I don't know. Sometimes you see something and you hear about this and it all just kind of makes sense. And to me, like, I wouldn't be surprised watching this video 5 years from now. Let's say in 2029, I'm watching this video and there's NBA in Vegas and it's at this site and there's an entertainment district and they've spruced up the Rio all over again. They've made the Rio a thing. It's off the strip, but it's got the arena tied to it. That would not shock me one bit. You just got to make sure you figure out how to get people easily from the strip over to the Rio. Like a people mover thing, a tram thing. I don't know, but you need something. You definitely need something. All right, you've made it here to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. That greatly helps me and this video and this channel. Also, real quick, before this thing ends, go down there below. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. That way I definitely get to see you back here next time.